Yo, what is going on, guys? And welcome back to 365 Analytics. And today we are back. It is Tuesday night, and as always, I say it every episode, but as always, we are back with our weekly 365 recap episode. And we are officially on, I almost said week 10, episode 10 of the 365 recap. That's been going along through the football season now, NCAA, and the NFL season. But here we are. We are in episode number 10. We have a lot to go over today. A lot of things happened within the world of college football and the NFL. We have a new college football playoff rankings coming out now. Right as I'm recording this, it had just came out, so I'm gonna do a little go over on that after we do the recap on the scores and all that as usual. But yeah, a lot went on this weekend. Before I do get into today's video, if you guys do enjoy today's video, please like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more content exactly like this. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting off, we obviously go over all the top 25 games here on Friday night. USC hosted Northwestern in a Big Ten matchup. USC got the win 38-17. Jaden Mayava, 24 for 33, 299, and two touchdowns. Makai Lemon has 161, the touchdown. Great game for USC overall, and they are looking like a college football playoff contender. Even with two losses at this point, if they were on the table, they have a chance. Ohio State beats Purdue 34-10. Purdue, obviously one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. Julian Sand looking like a Heisman candidate right now. The best game of the entire weekend across college football probably was Indiana and Penn State. Obviously, Penn State, they've lost five in a row going in, 0-5 in the Big Ten, now 0-6 in the Big Ten, dropping the game to Indiana here, 27-24. The big story of this one, Omar Cooper Jr., toe tap touchdown in number two Indiana. Fernando Mendoza looking like the Heisman frontrunner right now. They're 10-0. They are absolutely rolling right now. And Omar Cooper Jr., one of the catches of the entire season in the college football world on Saturday. Crazy, crazy catch. You didn't see it. It will probably be in the thumbnail of this video, but absolutely insane right there. Indiana rolls 27-24. Texas A&M beats Mizzou 30-17, putting a door shut on the Mizzou season at this point. Three losses, 2-3 in the SEC. Mizzou's season is officially over. It was going to be an uphill battle, even if they did win this game. But Texas A&M gets it done. They're one of the best teams in the country. Obviously, Marcel Reed's playing great football. 30-17, they get it done. Alabama beats LSU in Tuscaloosa 20-9. As usual, LSU's defense did some work. LSU's offense didn't do some work, but obviously this is the first game without Brian Kelly. And just a rough year overall for LSU and Garrett Nussmeier, who was benched later in the game. Georgia beats Mississippi State 41-21. Georgia just rolled here. Gunnar Stockton, 264 and three touchdowns. Good win for them. Ole Miss beats the Citadel 49-0. No surprise there. In the game of the week, college game day was on site for this one. Fowler and Herbstreit were calling it. Undefeated BYU traveling into Lubbock to take on Texas Tech. Texas Tech absolutely rolls. A pretty embarrassing performance from BYU, if I do say so myself. I expected them to keep it a little closer in this game. It still was a 13.5-point spread, and I expected BYU to be able to keep it a little bit closer, if not win the game. I thought BYU was a really good program going in, but in the end, Texas Tech just rolled. They are a college football playoff candidate right now. Obviously, they're in the thick of it. Another very good game that happened on Saturday on CBS. 18-16, your good old grinded out Iowa Hawkeyes game. They took a touchdown. They scored a touchdown late, took the lead. Dante Moore led an Oregon game-winning drive to evidently kick the field goal for the win. Notre Dame beats Navy 49-10. CJ Carr 218 and three touchdowns. Very good game for him. A loss from a ACC team at home. Wake Forest goes into Virginia and beats Virginia in a very defensive, grounded out game, 16-9. Virginia obviously was looking like in the thick of the college football playoff conversation. Again, since they beat Florida State, they have been on an absolute roll, and they took the loss here. So that puts a very, very, very big look on their season at this point. It's looking rough now. Another top 25 team losing. Cal storms into Louisville. 29-26, California gets it done. Another loss for Louisville. See, Virginia and Louisville, two ACC teams that got upset on the road. Rough outing for those two, but yeah. Another one of the really good games of the weekend. Vanderbilt and Auburn. Not many people were watching this game because of one reason or another. YouTube TV still figuring out their dispute with ESPN and Disney right now. So I can only have one game on at once because I usually have the multi-view and I usually have multiple TVs, but YouTube TV was being weird and they haven't got it done with ESPN yet. So, but Vanderbilt wins in Nashville 45-38 over Auburn. Diego Pavia, another great game from him, 25-33, 377, and three touchdowns. Cobb had a very good game for Auburn in his own right. Miami beat Syracuse 30-10 at home in Hard Rock Stadium. Carson Beck goes for 18 of 24, 247, and one touchdown there. And Washington goes into Madison and loses. Wisconsin snaps a six-game losing streak. This is their first Big Ten win, 13-10. Very defensive game. Wisconsin gets it done. It looks like a very, very embarrassing performance from Washington, but nonetheless, that is your recap of your top 25 matchups over this weekend in college football. We had some good ones, notably Indiana, Penn State, Oregon, Iowa, and really Vanderbilt, Auburn. But you're due for a few good games every single week in college football. But let's talk about this weekend real quick. Week number 12. We only have a few weeks left, ladies and gentlemen, of college football. This season went by like this. I feel like I was just watching Alabama and Florida State. I feel like I was just watching LSU and Clemson. We have this week, we have next week, which is a normal week, and then week 14. Once you get to week 14, we're talking about rivalry week already, ladies and gentlemen. That's Georgia Tech week. It's Texas A&M week. We are absolutely rolling through. Only two normal weeks of college football left. Then we go to rivalry week. Then we go to conference championship. Then we go to bowl games, college football playoff, and all that. But only a few normal weeks of college football left, ladies and gentlemen. But this upcoming weekend, Clemson, Louisville, an ACC matchup in Louisville, and Minnesota and Oregon take on each other at 9 o'clock on Fox in Eugene. Indiana plays Wisconsin. Texas A&M hosts South Carolina in an SEC game. Texas A&M favored by 18.5 in that game. Well, college game day will be on site for this game. Notre Dame and Pitt in Acrisure Stadium. I saw a clip of Pittsburgh's head coaches, their press conference. He was like, "This is absolutely not a must-win game. It's not an ACC game. It doesn't really matter at all." And I was kind of like, I mean, I guess he's right. He's absolutely right. Pittsburgh has their sights set on an ACC championship game, but way to fire your guys up. That's kind of how I think. But college game day will be on site for this one. Notre Dame and Pitt should be interesting. Michigan and Northwestern play a Big Ten matchup. South Florida, who is back in the top 25, plays Navy. Arizona takes on Cincinnati in Nippert Stadium. Big SEC matchup here. Oklahoma, Alabama. If Oklahoma can muster up this win, they are in the thick of the college football playoff right now. Alabama, obviously, they've won 8 in a row. They're undefeated in the SEC. They have a front row seat to the SEC championship game right now. UCF and Texas Tech in Lubbock. NC State and Miami in an ACC matchup. Georgia Tech and Boston College also in an ACC matchup there in Chestnut Hill. Big Ten matchup here at 3:30. Two ranked teams taking on each other. Iowa, USC. Virginia and Duke. Virginia still in the thick of the top 25 here at number 19, going into Duke. New Mexico State plays Tennessee. I always find it funny when these SEC teams late in the year play teams like New Mexico State and like the Citadel, who Ole Miss played last week. But I mean, Tennessee's pretty much out of it anyway. So Florida and Ole Miss, good old fashioned rivalry right there. Utah and Baylor, UCLA and Ohio State on Big Ten Saturday night. And the game of the weekend right here. Number 10, Texas, led by Arch Manning. Number 5, Georgia, led by Gunnar Stockton in an SEC championship rematch from last year. Should be a very interesting one. And at 10:15, you have TCU and BYU to wrap up the college football Saturday. But yeah, now let's talk about the college football playoff rings. I'll talk about that real quick, and then we will go straight into the NFL. And here are your Week 12 college football playoff rankings, November 11th, 2025. This week, it looks a little different. If you see all my other 365 recaps, we usually go on the ESPN site to look at the rankings. This week, we are on 3 Sports. They have the AP poll and the top 25 rankings every week, but this is your college football playoff rankings at this very moment. Ohio State obviously keeps that at number 1, Indiana number 2, Texas A&M number 3, Alabama number 4, Georgia number 5. That's your top 5 right now. Not really any disputing that. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. That's your five best teams in the country right now. Zero disputing. Texas Tech coming off a big win at number 6, Ole Miss at number 7, Oregon at number 8, Notre Dame still in the top 10 at number 9, and Arch Manning in Texas at number 10, who actually go to Athens this week to take on Georgia. Ole Miss, who goes to Alabama this week in Bryant-Denny Stadium to take on Alabama. BYU at number 12 coming off the loss, followed by Utah, Vanderbilt at number 14. Miami at number 15 is pretty interesting. They're a two-loss team, obviously. They've lost to Louisville. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a little too high for him, obviously. As you can see, they're above Louisville. I know Louisville only beat them a few weeks ago, but I don't know. Miami's probably the better team, but yeah. Followed by Georgia Tech, USC, Michigan. Those two teams played a few weeks ago. I believe USC won that game, so USC's one spot above them. Virginia coming off the loss to Wake Forest. Louisville coming off the loss to Cal. Two ACC teams dropping in the rankings after losses. Followed by Iowa. Iowa still in the top 25. They had a very, very promising performance against Oregon, even with a loss. Pitt at number 22, they will travel to Notre Dame this week. Tennessee at number 23. USF back in the top 25 again. We were talking about them again at number 24. And Cincinnati caps it off at number 25 to finish the top 25 rankings. So, yeah, we have a big week of college football ahead. It's big, big games ahead. Interesting week. And it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out. College football playoff, it's going to be a good one. We have a couple of locks at this point. I don't think anybody's disagreeing with Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia. Those five teams are absolutely going to be in. If Texas wins this weekend, it's very, very likely they're going to be in. If Oklahoma wins this weekend, it's very, very likely they're going to be in. Ole Miss almost surely in. Texas Tech almost surely in. Oregon almost surely in. Unless on one of these teams, like the rest of their games, you look at the rest of their games, they're probably going to get in. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest plays out. But we have like 5 or 6 locks at this point, 3 or 4 very, very probable, and it's 12-team playoffs. So you have a few more spots open. So yeah, now let's talk about this past week in the National Football League, and then we'll get out of here. Week 10 in the NFL is officially in the books. We had some defensive slobber knockers, we had some mid primetime games, but we had some good games nonetheless, particularly in Berlin. We had some very stunning upsets. We had some very sloppy play, and we had some very elite running back performances. We had everything. Let's just say that. Starting off with last Thursday night, Denver hosted Las Vegas. Denver got it done in a very, very defensive game. Both defenses played lights out. Bo Nix had a very, very bad game. Raiders defense had him in hell. Kyu Blue Kelly had 2 picks in this game. But Denver, maybe besides Houston right now, have the best defense in the National Football League. And even without Patrick Surtain, they are balling out right now. They're 8-2. They will travel to Kansas City this weekend, so that will be interesting. Wait, is the game in Denver? I think it's in. It might be in Denver actually. I'll have to check that. We'll talk about Week 11 in a second, but they play Kansas City this week. So next, it is Berlin game. Falcons Colts in Berlin. Very very good game. Very banger of a game in overtime. 31-25. Colts get it done. Daniel Jones 19 for 26, 255 and a touchdown. But the story here was Jonathan Taylor. 32 carries, 244 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That man is your MVP frontrunner. There shouldn't be any disputing it. I get the Drake May conversations. I get the Matthew Stafford conversations. And I get the Patrick Mahomes conversations. That man, that running back in Indianapolis, is your MVP frontrunner. And there should be no disputing it right now. That's your MVP frontrunner. The Colts are 8-2. They're going into a bye week. The Bears rally and get a come from behind win 24-20 over the New York Giants. Obviously, the story out of this one, Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll is officially fired. His era in New York is officially come to an end. They decided to keep general manager Joe Shane. The rumors are he will be leading the head coaching search, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I don't think it's a good decision at all. But that's what John Mara decided to go with. Chicago gets the win at home, 24-20. Miami, an absolute stunner. I picked the Bills as my lock of the week, and it was my first loss in the lock of the week category of the year, which absolutely hurt to say. But Miami gets it done 30-13 at home versus the Bills. Another elite running back performance here. Devon Achane, 22 carries, 174 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Miami put together 4 quarters of elite football. What more can you say? They did it for the first time this season. They're 3-7. Obviously, all the Dolphins fans want them to tank. They're not going to be bad enough to get a top 10 pick. I mean, a top 5 pick, though. So, 7 game losing streak comes to an end. Wait, against Bills. Against the Bills. Yeah, I was about to say, they didn't lose 7 in a row. But Josh Allen usually always beats the Dolphins, but this time it was a little different. They split the season series. Baltimore goes to Minnesota and didn't really play that well, but Minnesota was just not good at all. Minnesota's defense, Brian Flores had a great plan for the Baltimore Ravens offense, but the Minnesota Vikings offense didn't really do him any favors. Justin Jefferson didn't have a very good game. JJ McCarthy went out there and did not look good. Obviously, everybody's talking about the 9 gimmick because everyone's talking about 9 on social media about JJ McCarthy. Oh, nine's gonna come out. It's kind of funny, but he had a very bad game against Baltimore. Baltimore got done and they are storming back. And the common thought around the NFL right now is they're going to win the AFC North, but we'll talk more about that in a second. Joe Burrow's 21-day practice window is open. We'll talk about that more in a second. Browns and the Jets in a tank bowl. The Jets win their second in a row, 27-20, and they win. They didn't play very good offensively. Justin Fields didn't play very good at all, but Breece Hall did enough. Their special teams did enough. Engwanu, I don't even know how to say his name perfectly, but Isaiah Williams as well had punt return for touchdown. The Jets got it done. And arguably the game of the weekend coming in, Pats Bucks in Raymond James Stadium. Drake May does it again. Drake May does it again. I mean, I can't hate the Patriots anymore. They did it. They proved me wrong. They're looking very real right now. They're undefeated on the road. Mike Vrabel has these guys playing well. Travion Henderson finally had his breakout game of 14 carries. Baker Mayfield didn't necessarily play bad. The Emeka Ibuka did his thing, but it wasn't enough. Patriots defense did a good job. Drake May threw a costly interception at the end, but in the end, Patriots got it done. Carolina loses to New Orleans. Tyler Shuck gets his first career win, 17-7 on the road in Bank of America Stadium. Carolina, this is one you needed to win. Bryce Young looked sloppy. This was one that Carolina just could have had, man. Could have had. Like, this is one that you look at, and if Carolina's one game out of the playoffs, like, Carolina's not getting talked about much, but they're 5-5. They could still make the NFC playoffs. I know the NFC is very competitive, and nobody really likes them because their defense isn't very good, and blah, 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 blah. But they're still in it. Like, that's the thing. They're still in it. This is a game that they really could have won. They could have been 6-4, and they could have been right there in the NFC playoff picture. But this one's going to come back to haunt them at the end of the year. Davis Mills and the Houston Texans rally, a come from behind victory. I think the game was 20-3 at one point. I don't know. It was a big comeback. Trevor Lawrence and the Jags were absolutely rolling. Parker Washington did his thing, but Davis Mills just did it. The Texans defense, one of the best defenses, if not the very best defense in the National Football League, along with Denver, along with Seattle, along with Green Bay. They're right there. The Texans defense is the class of the NFL. They're playing absolutely so good right now. And their defense is single-handedly the reason they're still in the NFL playoff race right now. They're 4-5. They win 36-25 or 36-29 in a comeback victory. Seahawks get the win at home, 44-22 over the Arizona Cardinals. DeMarcus Lawrence, 2 defensive touchdowns. In another one of the games of the week, Rams beat the Niners on the road in Santa Clara to split the season series, 42-26. Matthew Stafford, again, another stellar game from him. At the same time, Mac Jones did his thing, 32-39, 319, and 3 touchdowns. Kyron Williams played well. George Kittle had his best game of the entire season. Rams get it done. The Lions beat the Commanders 44-22 in Landover. Obviously, no Jaden Daniels. Not really much to say about the Commanders. Their season's over at this point. Defense isn't playing well. Dan Quinn has took play calling duties into this week. Took away play calling duties from Joe Witt. Dan Quinn will now call defensive plays for Washington. In the primetime game, in a result that kind of shocked me, the Chargers beat the Steelers at home 25-10. Herbert played all right. Didn't play stellar. He was good though. Kamani Vidal, 25 for 95 on a touchdown. Lad McConkey goes over 100 yards. The Chargers defense was great. Had Aaron Rodgers in hell all night, and the Steelers will take on the Bengals this week, which we'll talk about more in a second. Because I'm excited to talk about it. I can't believe I'm excited to talk about the Bengals right now, but I am. There's optimism here. There's optimism. There's optimism in Cincinnati right now, but we'll talk about that more in about a minute here. And on Monday Night Football, another defensive slobber knocker, a little bit more of a more quality game than the Raiders and Broncos on Thursday, but same exact score, same exact low scoring game. The Eagles beat the Packers in Lambeau 10-7 on Monday Night Football. At the end there, Nick Sirianni went for it on fourth down. I have no clue why he would have done that. Would have kicked the field goal, gave it back to Green Bay, and make them with no timeouts try to go down and score a touchdown. But Nick Sirianni got lucky. He escaped, and Brandon McManus missed the field goal. I don't know why Brandon McManus is still a Packers kicker at this point. He's a shell of his old self. His legs clearly not good. He doesn't have the range anymore. And Lucas Haversick, when he stepped in when Brandon McManus was injured, he played better. So I don't know why he's still there. But Philly got it done in a defensive performance, and yeah, they go to 7-2 on the year. But yeah, it was a pretty crazy week 10 in the NFL. Now on to week number 11 already. Are you kidding me? It's crazy how quick we go through the NFL season at this point because it's crazy. It's crazy how quick the NFL season goes by, but we already almost at Thanksgiving. So, yeah, on Thursday night, the Jets take on the Patriots in Foxborough. New England favored by 12 and a half points here. This one right here, Bengals Steelers. The Bengals are coming off the bye week at 3-6. The Steelers they're reeling a little bit now at 5-4 hosting this game. The Bengals obviously won the first game back in Cincinnati in week 7. The story out of Cincinnati yesterday, Joe Burrow has his 21-day practice window off of IR activated. The Bengals have 21 days to decide to activate him or not to play this season. Rumor is Joe Burrow told Jay Glazer of Fox Sports that he intends to play on Thanksgiving night versus the Baltimore Ravens. I get it. The Bengals defense doesn't look good. It looks like historically bad, the worst in the NFL. If all 11 guys that are on the field at one time can play 1% better every single week, this Bengals team can do some damage. It takes this defense not being number 32 in the league. If they were the number 25 ranked defense, if they were an average defense, this could be a good football team. And you look at the AFC North right now. Cleveland's 2-7, Cincinnati 3-6, Baltimore's 4-5, Pittsburgh's 5-4. You are undefeated in the division right now. You are 2-0 in the divisional play. Right now, who's ahead of you? The Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers. This will be Joe Flacco this week, obviously. Look who's in front of you. The Pittsburgh Steelers. You head back home and play New England next weekend. And then, the next Thursday after that, it's Thanksgiving. Who knows if Joe Burrow will be ready for that game? Who knows if he might be ready for the Bills game? Obviously, this weekend, you circle it. It's a must-win game for the Bengals this weekend. It's a must-win game for the Cincinnati Bengals this weekend. If you can beat the Pittsburgh Steelers and you can go to 3-0, your season's very much alive. You play Baltimore week 13, week 15. 2 of those 3 weeks. And then, obviously, you have Buffalo week 14 in Buffalo. Week 16, 17, 18, you have Miami, Arizona, Cleveland. I am not giving up. I know 2 weeks ago I came on here and said that I'm giving up, but I'm not giving up. Go Bengals. I'll see y'all in game picks tomorrow, obviously. So we'll talk about more about the Bengals tomorrow. But, I'm not tomorrow, on Thursday. But, yeah, that's all I'm going to say about the situation right now. We'll talk about Bengals Steelers more on Thursday. That's all I have to say. The Commanders and Dolphins play in Madrid to battle of 2, 3-7 teams on NFL Network. Panthers and Falcons play matchup number 2 on the season in Atlanta. The last game they played, I believe Carolina won the game 30-0. Let's see what happens here. A very, very good game in Orchard Park. Buccaneers, Bills. If the Buffalo Bills want to win the AFCs, you best believe New England's winning the game against the Jets on Thursday. Really, New England's winning that game. If the Buffalo Bills want to win the AFC East at this point, not many people have talked about it this week, but if the Buffalo Bills want to win the AFC East, this is absolutely a must-win game. They have to win this game. Tampa Bay is also coming off a loss, so things could tighten up a little bit if Carolina won this game and Tampa Bay lost this game. So Texans Titans play matchup number 2 on the season in Nashville. Bears and Vikings, another game, matchup number 2 between these two teams. They played the opening Monday Night Football in Chicago. This time they're in Minnesota. Packers and Giants. Packers coming off 2 straight losses. They play in East Rutherford. Giants first game without Brian Daboll. Chargers and Jags in Jacksonville. Jacksonville must-win game. They want to keep their hopes alive in the AFC playoff race because it's looking likely like Indianapolis is going to win the division. And the Chargers, Justin Herbert versus Trevor Lawrence. That's the main story here. A game of the weekend in my eyes, Seahawks, Rams, two of the class of the NFC right now, two looking like at least Super Bowl contenders. Darnold versus Stafford. NFC West matchup should be a very good game. Another NFC West matchup, 49ers Cardinals in Glendale. Ravens Browns, a matchup I will be watching very, very closely if Cincinnati beats Pittsburgh earlier in the day. So I'm gonna be rooting for Cleveland if Cincinnati beats Pittsburgh, but it's all up to the Bengals. It's all up to the Bengals. Chiefs and Broncos take on this game. It is actually a mile high. This game is actually in Denver. I thought it was in Kansas City. They play later in Kansas City on Christmas Day, I believe, on Christmas night. But right now they're playing in Denver. Oh wait, I called Rams Seahawks game of the week. This one might be even better. Lions Eagles Sunday Night Football. Obviously, again, two of the very best in the entire NFC right now. Lions coming off a win, Eagles coming off a win. 6-3 versus 7-2. Big game for playoff seeding. And Monday Night Football is pretty mid between the Cowboys and Raiders, but yeah, that's your Monday Night Football game. So yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy today's video, please like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications for more content exactly like this one. Without further ado, I'll see y'all later. I'll see y'all Thursday for game picks. And as always, go Bengals.